Yeah, it's your boy Fist in his house. Bring another great edition of Call of Duty from me to you, because that's what I do. 2006, so on, before, whatever. Anyways, usually I would do like a vlog if I wanted to be really critical about something, but I don't think I need to be too critical. I don't know if I'm going to be critical. This is going to be one of those videos where I'm going to talk about Battlefield Hardline, predicting video games, and Treyarch's new Call of Duty. Now, if you like these kind of videos, because I usually cover stuff that is before anybody else, you know, based on how long I've been around, I do my research. Mostly, I cover the Call of Duty. It's interesting to cover Call of Duty developers. I mean, people cover the esports people, and there's people that cover the game, people that cover the weapons. I'm more or less like an indicator of what Call of Duty is going to be like in the future and other FPSs, and give you my 2 cents based on my wisdom of how long I've been around this form, YouTube. So that's where I stand. I'm not really. I don't think I'm more of I'm going to be the most critical critic online multiplayer first-person shooter gamer out there that you're going to hear from. And a lot of people don't like that. They don't like my opinions. That's fine. At the end of the day, you know, when the dust settles, they'll come. Usually people, they don't come back to the videos, but I always like to go back and look at the videos, and I'm like, man, I'm not trying to be a dick or nothing, but I was actually right about that. And I'm like, I look at the comments and at all my videos in the past in my archives, and they're like, you know, you don't know what you're talking about, Fist, blah 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 blah. And then I'm like, where are all these people 2 years later on this video? And then the last person that commented was 3 years ago, or 6 months ago, or 8 months, whatever. And they're like, all right, where are you now? So that's what I do here. I pretty much give you indicators, predict things, and so on and so forth. So when I predict games, a lot of people on Twitter, they'll be hypercritical of me. They'll say something like, you know, you're not completely right, or you're not all the way right, or you're wrong, you don't know what you're talking about, you haven't even played the game, so how do you even know? I mean, that shit amazes me. You know, the reason here, if you are a avid player of a game, and that's all you play, first person shooter genre, and you've been around more than, you know, 10, 12, 15, 20 years, 30 years, you pretty much know that if you study history, it usually repeats itself in some form or fashion. So when I look at Call of Duty, and I've been here since the beginning of Call of Duty, I was like literally on the first Call of Duty forums when it was Call of Duty or Call of Duty 4.com. I forgot what it was. I mean, I remember we were able to post pictures of us for the Halloween contest for Call of Duty 4. And I remember posting the pictures of myself on Call of Duty forums. You know, pictures. You can't even post pictures anymore, I don't think, on Call of Duty forums. And they're terrible. It's the worst way, antiquated, outdated way of communicating with your fans. I always thought that, you know, if you watch the videos of the people that play Call of Duty, you know, the people that are on YouTube, I mean, that was the best. You're getting visual evidence of how your game's performing. So I always thought that was like and I, you know, still think that's the way it should be done today. But it seems like the developers don't realize it or whatever. So anyways, based on the history of Call of Duty and what I'm seeing, you know, I think that Advanced Warfare. It's funny. I'm watching the interview with Michael Condrey and Glenn Schofield, and they're talking about this game is not sci-fi. Well, I mean, what do you think? What's a hover bike? Definitely not going to be a hover bike in the next 50 years. I guarantee you there's not going to be a hover bike in the next 50 years in Call of Duty Advanced Warfare. And they try to like talk about the walking tank, and they went to NASA and they saw it with wheels, and I was like, okay, whatever. But I know for a damn fact that a hover bike is not going to be in the future in 50 years. Not to the extreme of what they were talking about. I saw hover bikes with fans in them, but not like, those are like very extremely, it's not gonna, it's science fiction. There's a tinge of science fiction in it. It's not, but you know, I'm not gonna hold them to that, because a lot of people hold me that if you're saying it's not science fiction, that's fine. I mean, jetpacks on exosuits, I don't even think that you could control where you land. I mean, that seems a little sci-fi to me. So if you're talking about the basis of your game, yeah, I think that's a little bit sci-fi. Now, this video might run on, and I might keep going, and I have a lot of things to cover. So if this video comes to an end and we're not finished discussing what we're talking about, then you could go to the Fist 2 channel. I guess it's kind of like a podcast, and this is just gameplay in the background. You know, I didn't even know what weapon this says. I forgot, but it's a single shot weapon. I enjoyed it, and you know, I look back at these games and I'm saying to myself, you know, David Vonderhaar watches a lot of videos, and I said to myself, the more and more I complained about Call of Duty, I look back at it in hindsight, the more things that I said to fix in Black Ops, the more and more it went the opposite direction. And I'm not saying that's completely me, but it seems really odd now, because I made so many videos in Black Ops 2. I couldn't believe how many videos that I made. And I went to Call of Duty XP before that. And I'm saying to myself, it's possible that David Vonderhaar could be that vindictive. I don't even know why. I don't know why, like, because I mean, like, I'm being, like, very constructive about his game to him. I don't even know what I said or did, but, you know, I mean, like, I don't know, like, you looking at the videos and just making the game more opposite of what the community wanted. It just feels like he made the game for the Call of Duty community in Black Ops 1. And if you look at Black Ops 1, it was the most played game, concurrent users online. And then he went to the Machinima Awards and he hooked up with Fwiz and Hex and all those guys. What was the other guy? Grizz. And they all talked him, you know, into doing esports. I mean, if you want to blame some people for the direction of Black Ops and esports, I mean, to be honest with you, if it wasn't for Fwiz, there would be no esports in Call of Duty Ghost, or in Call of Duty period, because Fwiz, and I think Fwiz and Hex and Grizz during the Machinima Awards talked him into the direction of this game. And I know for a fact Fwiz and Hastro literally changed this game, changed the Call of Duty. This isn't a vision by David Vonderhaar himself. This is a vision that has been swayed by Fwiz and Hastro, you know, and Grizz and all those other guys over a Machinima party that they were buying them drinks for, and Hutch too as well. I'm not to mention. So if you want to look at a group of people who've actually changed this game, it was them. They got into David Vonderhaar's mind and they changed it. And you know, this is the farthest thing from what everybody wanted to play anyway. You know what I mean? And like I said, I don't have nothing against those guys. I just, like I said, I'm just speaking the facts, and they're not gonna come out here and say anything different, because I know that's what happened. So I mean, between 2 million concurrent users buying and playing your game versus, you know, building it up to this point to where if it's literally that Call of Duty is going to be on X Games. And I guess I'm going to have to get to Hardline and Treyarch's game in the next video, Battlefield Hardline. But, you know, I went off on a tangent, and I want to still cover this, and it's going to probably continue in the Fist 2 video. So click the link below. I'm sorry about that, but you know, I like talking. You guys like listening. We could chill, talk, hang out. It's awesome. So anyways, you guys can I'm going to continue this conversation about the X Games and how it relates to the whole change. I don't know why I got on this, but it was because how I felt the game was changing in hindsight in these videos comparative to the next version of Call of Duty. See you there, link below. Peace. I'm out.